Hi, this is going to be a little bit different video today. So one of my goals this year was to basically read 24 nonfiction books. And to keep myself accountable, I'm basically doing a short book review of each of those books throughout the year. So this book that I read recently was called Start by Jon Acuff. Basically, the subtitle says it all: punch fear in the face, escape average, and do work that matters. And so basically what the book is about is it talks about the learning cycle that we have in life. In the old days, we had this learning cycle where in our 20s we were learning. In our 30s, we were editing and kind of saying, okay, I learned all these things, now what is the important things? In 40, we were really mastering it. So maybe I was interested in carpentry, and then I worked that down to I'm interested in building boats. And then in my mastering, I would only build maybe rowboats. And so we kind of kept editing down until we found what we wanted. In our 50s, we harvested. So now we've done all this work for the last 30 years. Now we can really reap the harvest of what we did. And in our 60s, we started guiding others and doing what we did and became the masters of it. In our culture, though, we've really shortened these cycles down because you could be 20 and be a master at something, or you can be 50 and start learning because you had to start a whole new profession again. And so there's this whole concept of, you just have to start working where you are to become where you want to be. There's an interesting statistic that they point out in the book that if you want to be good at anything, you have to put in about 10,000 hours. So if you want to be a masterful guitar player, you got to put about 10,000 hours of practice in. If you want to be a master computer programmer, it's going to take a lot of practice, right? If you want to be a master cybersecurity expert, you got to read a lot, learn a lot, and do a lot. And it's really interesting the way that he brings this stuff out. One of the big quotes I took in the book was he says, "Action beats intention every time." And what that means is a lot of times we have the best of intentions. I'm going to be the best father. I'm going to be the best guitar player. But we don't do anything about it because a lot of times we're just afraid to even start. And the other thing that we always say is we don't have enough time. But really, we always find time for the things we want to do, right? And so one of the things he brings out is that, you should be selfish in starting your goals. So if you wanted to start and become a writer, and you should start a blog, that takes time. And so he says, hey, be selfish about it, right? But don't be selfish at the wrong times. So often when we do these type of things, we're like, you know what? I am going to start this new venture, and I'm going to do it every night from 6 to 7 o'clock at night. Well, that's great. The only problem with that is, A, you're probably tired by 6 to 7 o'clock at night because you just worked a full day. B, you're going to get home and your spouse or your kids are going to want your attention, and you're not going to have time for them if you do this new venture. And so you're being selfish, but you're giving up their time to do what you want. So instead, he says you should be selfish at 5 a.m. Because here's the thing, if you wake up a little bit early and you do it at 5 a.m., no one's going to bother you. Your kid's not going to come to you at 5 in the morning and go, hey, Dad, let's go play catch. Your wife's not going to bug you at 5 a.m. and say, hey, honey, how come the laundry's not done, right? 5 a.m. is the time you can go lock yourself and give yourself that 30 minutes or 45 minutes before work to work on that dream project of yours. And if you just start working on it, you can get wherever you want to be. Whether that's you want to become an expert at cybersecurity, so you're going to build a little penetration lab, between 5 and 6 a.m., that's your time to go play on it and learn your hacking techniques. If you want to write a book, you start at 5 a.m. and you write, a couple pages a day, you're going to have that book by the end of the year. And so that's the whole concept of starting. It was just a very great book and really well written and very entertaining. And I highly recommend reading it for any of you guys who are looking at starting to be able to obtain your dream.